Did you see the news? The Lakers just signed a 7-0 center at Atletico. Could this be the depth they needed? I'm Guilherme, and in today's video, we'll analyze the impact of this addition on the team and whether he can really transform the Lakers season. Get ready for a complete analysis and insights that you won't want to miss. Stay tuned, and let's get to today's news, but first, just make sure you're already subscribed to the channel, because the next videos will be a series of content that will help you stay informed about everything related to the Lakers. Turn on the notification bell and select the All option. After that, we'll send you everything breaking that comes out behind the scenes of the Lakers. Lakers fans, we have a goal of 60 likes to hit this video. In the last video, we hit the goal in less than an hour. Prove that you're a diehard Lakers fan and leave a like so we can hit this goal soon. Welcome back. With Christian Wood and Jared Vanderbilt likely out for the preseason and early regular season, the Lakers are facing a challenge in terms of roster depth. Right now, the idea is to work with a 10-man rotation, but that's a best-case scenario. There's still uncertainty about the participation of players like Jalen H., Sarchino, Bronny James, and Maxwell Lewis. And when you look at the two-way contracts, it's clear that relying on these players could be risky at this point. The Lakers, aware of this situation, are looking for alternatives. They recently made an attempt to bolster their roster by inviting a 7-year veteran and former teammate of LeBron James to training camp. However, the player in question, Cedi Osman, ended up declining the offer to pursue a career with a European team. It's clear that the team is actively trying to add more competitiveness and depth to the group. Even though a training camp invite doesn't guarantee a roster spot, there is the possibility of converting it to a two-way contract or a guaranteed minimum contract if they choose to free up space by releasing a player. It's an interesting strategy that shows the team isn't sitting on its hands, but rather looking for solutions. While it's unclear whether the Lakers actually plan to do so, adding a player to their 15-man roster could be a viable option. What seems to have been the goal with Cedi Osman was to increase competition in training camp, especially among the young power forwards like Cam Reddish, Max Christie, and Jalen Hood-Schifino. Connect. The message is clear. No one is guaranteed a spot in the rotation, and these players can be replaced at any time. This certainly doesn't mean that Christie and Hood-Schifino are out, but perhaps Reddish is under more pressure. He seems to be the main target of this strategy to encourage competition. However, with Cedi Osman out of the picture, the Lakers could still look for another free agent to not only challenge Reddish, but also give a boost to other players, including those on two-way contracts. There are several free agent options that could fill this void, and I believe some of them would be good additions to the roster. Before we get into the details of these possibilities, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new content. Now, without further ado, let's get right to it. One free agent who, despite not being eligible for a two-way contract, should be on an NBA team is Troy Brown Jr. Remember Troy Brown? Last summer, he signed a 2-year, $8 million contract with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Unfortunately, that stint didn't last long. He performed well during the first half of the season, but was eventually traded to the Detroit Pistons, where his performance dropped dramatically. His shooting percentage dropped below 30% on both field goals and three-pointers, which resulted in his release. Now he's back on the market as a free agent. Despite not being eligible for a two-way contract, I think Troy would be an interesting addition to the Lakers training camp. He's already familiar with the team, and his best season in the NBA was with the Lakers. Back then, he averaged 7 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 38.1% on three-pointers, as well as 40% on corners. He was a great fit, especially playing alongside the team's cornerstones LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Sure, he's not a star, but he would be a solid option to come off the bench and contribute around 8 minutes per game. He averaged 24.5 minutes per game that season, which was perhaps overkill, largely out of necessity, before the Lakers made the trades. Still, he brought significant value with solid three-point shooting and solid defense. If the Lakers are looking to bolster their roster with someone reliable and who has proven to have team chemistry, Troy Brown Jr. could be a sensible addition. I think bringing Troy Brown to Lakers training camp would make a lot of sense. Even though he's not guaranteed a spot on the team, his presence would create healthy competition, especially for players like Cam Reddish and Max Christie. Who knows, he might even be able to outperform Reddish. Of course, there's still value to be extracted from Reddish, so replacing him with someone on a minimum contract might not be the most likely option. However, what Troy Brown would bring to the group is positive pressure that could elevate everyone around him. Brown is a typical 3-and-D player who fits in well alongside stars like LeBron James and Anthony Davis. His three-point shooting ability and versatility within the game plan would be important differentiators. While he may not have the same defensive presence as Reddish, his offensive efficiency, especially on threes, is something that could add a lot to the rotation. After all, for a team built around LeBron and Davis, players who contribute on both ends of the floor are essential. Right now, perhaps the only player on the Lakers who we can consider a winner is Max Christie, but even he still has a lot more to prove to solidify his place. So, considering this scenario, adding Troy Brown to training camp would not only make sense, but it would also bring some extra competitiveness. Even if he doesn't end up sticking around, his presence would certainly elevate the level of practice and force everyone to give their all. If not Troy Brown, another interesting name the Lakers could consider is Isaiah Livers, a free agent who is eligible for a two-way contract. You may not have heard much about him since he's been a bit of a snooze fest for the Detroit Pistons. Livers is entering his third season in the NBA, and while last year was disappointing, there are signs that he could be a good addition. He struggled last season, shooting just 34.5% from the field and 29% from three. His defense was also subpar. However, before that, he showed potential as a three-and-draw forward. In his first two seasons, Livers averaged much better, shooting 43% from the field and 38% from three. During his rookie year, he shot an impressive 42.2% from three, including 40% from the corner, which is significant for a player who could excel as a catch-and-shoot specialist. Even with his recent dip in performance, his shooting history suggests he has plenty to offer. Not only is Livers efficient from three, especially on tough shots, but he's also athletic, which makes him a capable defensive contributor. He may not be an elite defender, but he certainly wouldn't be a liability on the court, bringing versatility to the rotation. The competition in training camp would be fierce, with players like Max Christie, Cam Reddish, and even Connect, but Livers would have a chance to prove himself. His three-point prowess would be the difference maker, and I think if we ignore his disappointing last season, he has what it takes to compete for a roster spot, especially on a two-way contract. Let's talk about Isaiah Livers. At 6'7" and 230 pounds, he is a versatile forward who can switch between the small forward and power forward positions. This flexibility is an advantage, as he could fill a variety of roles on the court. Defensively, Livers wouldn't be a major liability. He is athletic and doesn't pose a significant problem on defense. Livers' strength is his three-point shooting. However, his last season was below expectations, shooting just 29% from three. In order for him to be a valuable addition, it would be essential for him to return to higher rates, such as the 38% overall and 40% corner shooting he previously showed. If he can regain that level, Livers would become a reliable forward and an interesting candidate for a two-way contract. Compared to the Lakers' current two-way players, Livers has a clear advantage in terms of NBA experience. The team currently has two rookies, Blake Hinson and ARL Taylor, in addition to Colin Castleton, who had a limited impact so far. If the Lakers are looking for someone who can contribute from the start, it's likely that the rookies aren't quite ready for that role yet. Hinson and Taylor, in particular, seem to need more time in the G League before they're ready for the NBA. So if I were in the Lakers' position, I'd consider replacing ARL Taylor with a more experienced player like Livers, who can make an immediate and valuable contribution to the team. If you've been following Summer League, you know that some of the new faces are still in the development stage. Despite the potential these youngsters could have in the future, the truth is that some of them, like the current rookies, are still a bit raw and may not contribute as much as the team needs right now. That's where players like Isaiah Livers come into play. Livers could be a much better fit for the Lakers right now. If players like Cam Reddish, Max Christie, and Jalen Hood-Schifino aren't performing up to expectations, Livers could fill a big hole. Plus, with Christian Wood out and Jared Vanderbilt potentially out, a bigger wing could be just what the Lakers need to bolster their team. And let's not forget Dennis Smith Jr., a player who, despite being 26 years old, could bring some valuable competitiveness to training camp. Dennis Smith is one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, especially when it comes to defending the ball carrier. Last season, he was ranked the 8th best overall defender in the NBA, according to EPM's defensive rating. While he spent time on teams like Brooklyn, Charlotte, and Portland, where his defensive talents may not have been as prominent, Smith Jr. has developed into an elite defender and could provide some much-needed competition in the Lakers' training camp. If the Lakers want to truly strengthen their roster, adding Livers and Smith Jr. in training camp could be a smart move. Both have skills that can fill gaps on the roster and provide healthy competition for existing players. Let's talk about Dennis Smith Jr. and his potential for an NBA team. While his free agent status can be attributed in part to his lack of accuracy from three-point range, Smith is much more than that. He excels in several aspects of his game. He's an exceptional perimeter defender, a solid passer and playmaker, and is efficient at finishing around the rim. His ability to maintain a good assist-to-turnover ratio shows that he can be a reliable point guard, especially off the bench or alongside a facilitator like LeBron James. Even if Dennis Smith Jr. isn't eligible for a two-way contract, his presence in training camp would be valuable. He would provide fierce competition, pushing players like D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, and Gabe Vincent to elevate their game. It would increase the intensity of the team, and while there is no clear path for him to break into the main rotation, the competition he would provide could be beneficial. Additionally, Dennis Smith Jr. is one three-point shot away from becoming a really good player, possibly even a starter. Last season, he shot 34.2% from corner threes. While that's not amazing, it's a significant improvement over previous years. If any team can unlock his long-range shooting potential, he could quickly become a key player in the rotation. So I definitely think he deserves an invite to training camp, as his presence could be a huge asset to any team. Finally, I want to point out one more name that could be interesting for a two-way contract, Olivier Sarr. He's the older brother of Alex Sarr, the second overall pick in the 2024 draft. And I mentioned him in a previous video discussing potential replacements for Christian Wood. In my opinion, finding a replacement for Wood who fits a two-way contract and has the potential of Olivier Sarr is a daunting task. Olivier Sarr has played 46 games in the NBA thus far. While that's not a huge number, it's still quite a sizable number for a player on a two-way contract, especially when compared to Colin Castleton's number of games and minutes. Sarr has shown that he can take on the role of a third center. During his rookie year, he played around 19 minutes per game in 22 games, averaging around 7 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block per game. Additionally, his 44.8% three-point shooting is remarkable, even on a limited volume of 29 attempts. Looking at his performance in the G League, where he shot 40.8% from three, it's clear that Sarr has the ability to contribute significantly at the NBA level. He has already shown that he can be a versatile and effective player in both the NBA and the G League, and his three-point shooting ability is a huge asset. With that, Olivier Sarr could be a great addition to a two-way contract, providing a solid and reliable option for the team. Overall, Olivier Sarr possesses an impressive skill set for a big man. He is capable of scoring from both the low post and the three-point line without being a defensive concern. In addition, he excels as a rim protector. In 36 minutes of play, Sarr blocks about 1.5 shots per game in the NBA and over 2 per game in the G League. This two-way ability at the center is rare on the market right now, and few players offer what he can bring. While he is still relatively inexperienced with just 46 NBA games under his belt and at 25 years old, Sarr is a considerably better bet than Colin Castleton. He would be a superior pick and certainly deserves a two-way contract. Even if the Lakers don't decide to move on from Castleton, they could consider replacing D'Moy Hodge and extending an invite to training camp to Olivier Sarr. Not only would this increase the competition, but it would also provide a valuable opportunity for Hodge and Castleton to prove themselves, as well as Jackson Hayes. Sarr has some NBA experience and is well aware of the level of competition he will face. While Hayes showed some good form toward the end of last season, he still has a lot to prove and learn. Olivier Sarr could raise the bar even higher, providing an additional challenge and helping to strengthen the team. Overall, I really think these 4 players could be great additions to the Lakers training camp. 2 of them are eligible for two-way contracts. One is a former Laker, and the other is an elite front-court defender in Dennis Smith Jr. Each of them has something unique to offer and would be worthy of an invite, whether to the Lakers or any other NBA team. With the Lakers currently facing a lack of depth due to injuries and dealing with a rotation that may be a bit too young, adding more veteran players in training camp makes perfect sense. Players like Olivier Sarr and Isaiah Livers could bring the experience and competitiveness needed to raise the level of the team. And of course, if you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications to stay up to date with our content. As always, thank you for watching and have a great day. Thank you for watching this far. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue receiving the next content, access our playlist now that will appear on the screen, or in the pinned comment with all the latest news and breaking news about the Lakers, and stay up to date with the behind-the-scenes, highlights, last-minute controversies, transfers, everything about the Los Angeles Lakers team. Until the next video.